Hi, my name is Pamela Strum. And for those of you who don't know me, I do a lot of energy and healing work. So lately, I have heard many people talking about what is going on with time. And it's as if time is playing tricks on us. So I wanted to address this because there's a lot that's going on with time. And I thought it would be fun to share their perspective with those of you who do a lot of energy work and play with um, jumping timelines, folding timelines, and for those of you who don't even know what I'm talking about. So let's jump in and shed some light on what's going on. So you've all had the experience where you have lost track of time because you're in the middle of doing something you really love to do. And it seems like time flies by and you didn't even realize the passage of time. And then you've also experienced not where time seems like it's going excruciating slowly. So these are very third dimensional expressions of time where it's marked by a clock. So time has been structured for us. We're not living organically with nature, with the rising and setting, with the sun and the seasons, and we've created time. And even with an access to light other than sunlight, it changes how we experience our life and our seasons. So we can basically, turn a light on at any point and play in a realm of time. But this isn't what I'm talking about. And I know it's 2021, in case any of you are watching this at a different point in time. And we're getting ready to change our clocks back to standard time. And doesn't that throw you off, like between daylight and standard time? And why do we need to do that? Why does that happen? Why can't we just leave time alone? Maybe live with the seasons, get more rest in winter, be out there more in the summer with the sunshine to really nurture and support us. Well, this is what is going on. Okay, ready? So we as a humanity and as a planet are playing with and moving between the third dimension and a higher dimension of expression. In a higher dimension, let's say the fifth dimension and above, time doesn't even exist. Time is used as a marker for those of us in the third and fourth dimension. Now, if you are questioning what I'm saying, I will let you know. So relax around this. I'm going to use the word Gaia as a higher dimensional expression of Earth. That aspect of Earth that's very tangible to us, her energy field. And we also have energy fields. So there's the part of us that is our body, our third dimensional body, our cellular carbon-based body. And we have expressions of us that get lighter and lighter in our energy bodies, where we hold more energy and crystalline energy. So as we are experiencing more light, as Gaia holds more light and we're connected to Gaia, so we get an opportunity to hold light, more and more light. We're in the photon belt, and we are having solar flares. And when scientists like to use something called the Schumann resonance to measure the energy of Gaia, it has gone through the roof over these past few years to measurements that hadn't been seen in the since the Schumann resonance was used to record. So how does this affect us? Well, all time is now, and we have access to all timelines now. And physicists talk about this, and you hear about quantum physicists talk about this. So really, we can jump into what we consider the past or the future right in this very moment. But to experience this crosses into a realm that is other than the third dimension. So as the planet keeps holding more and more energy and hold more and more light, our third dimensional illusion of time and our construct of time that we've attached to the artificial matrix and the illusion starts to play, seems like it's playing games with our mind, because in the third dimension, the reason that time seems to pass, or that there's such duality, is that higher expression of ourself that comes from a higher dimension that creates immediately and manifests immediately, has decided to experience all of the frequencies and all of the opportunities of energy. And so to do that, time has been slowed down. So if you have a piece of taffy and you pull the taffy, it elongates the taffy, it stretches it out. And that's what's happened with the frequency of light energy, which has allowed us to define the markers of our experience with time. So we've put ourselves into what would be viewed as on a camera as slow-mo. I have many photographs on my camera, usually things of my kids. And let's say they went sledding down a hill. It took all of 2 seconds, or they're doing their Spanish dance and it's very fast. And I like to watch it in slow-mo so I can capture every moment of the experience. And it's this elongation of the taffy. It's like watching a cartoon and seeing every single slide, every frame of that cartoon, but then to make it look like a movie, you flip through it really quickly and it runs quickly. So as energy, higher dimensional frequency energies deciding to have experiences of duality without judgment, because our higher selves do not judge it. We don't say, oh, that was good, that was bad. It was simply an experience, no judgment at all. So once we put in judgment and duality, and we put in good and bad, we play with more density, we really anchor ourselves to time, and we become somewhat like the slaves of time. As we lighten up and hold more energy, which is happening now, we're being supported from the universe to hold more energy. What comes up are all of the potentials of our timelines that we have experienced. So maybe all of a sudden we get a flashback to something that's happened in the past. And if you know about epigenetics, where we hold even within our, within the design of our third dimensional structure, coming from a higher dimensional expression, our DNA, we hold our ancestral line and we play out scenarios that have been gifted, if you will, into our expression, so we can continue our line, our formation line. I feel like I'm going a little bit out to sea here, but for those of you who maybe aren't doing energy work. But what I'm saying really is it's a gift. It's been fun, but we have already played with the extremes of the duality. And when we've trapped ourselves in time following a clock, we're really meant to live as if we are thrilled and ecstatic in every moment, where we lose track of time, where there's no time. And I am saying this with all due respect. For example, I have to go pick up my kids from school shortly. So I'm beholden to using time as a marker in this third dimension, as we all are. But the planet's holding more light and we're waking up, and we're able to play with ourselves as lighter and lighter, maybe inhabiting more of our energy field. So what's super fun, so follow me, In the third dimension, you're following the construct of time. And when you wish to experience something, because it's played with all the notes of that elongation of that taffy, what's really stretched out and super slowed down, what comes up for you are the past, because remember, it's time. And really, there's no such thing as the past. Everything's now. But because you've chosen to slow it down, the past comes up with it. So your notion of the past and experiences and judgments and your notions of a future where you projected wishing to have an experience all come up. And maybe you negate yourself. Maybe you think, this experience isn't for me. I'm not good enough. This isn't really going to happen to me. Or you judge it by your past experience. In the past, haven't been successful at doing this. So what makes me think all of a sudden I'm going to have the ability to simply book a plane and fly for a vacation to Hawaii? So in a fifth dimensional and expression and above, you are in the now present moment. All of your awareness is in the now moment, and you create the feeling of what it is you'd wish to feel like from, let's say, this vacation. And all of a sudden, the universe brings to you many potentials, and every potential to have a particular feeling you're seeking in this thought of, creating an experience. And then from that infinite field of possibilities, you manifest your specific creation like this. It's like, did any of you grow up with the show Bewitched? And she like wiggles her nose or like blinks her eyes and oh, actually blinking eyes is I Dream of Jeannie, but that notion of magic, like immediate manifestation. And we're working our way toward that. Now, we're working our way toward that, which is why sometimes it seems like you have a thought and it happens. It drops right in. You're not used to maybe having your thoughts manifest right away. But the more you do your shadow work and clear out the density, the more and more you will have this experience. And the more you hold the light. And this is for all of us to step into this space. And the more of us who are holding this potential, the more readily we all experience it. Because for those of you who are watching this, who are saying to yourself, well, I do so much energy work, I do the shadow work. When I feel these fluctuations in time, I pay attention to what's coming up for me. I clear anything that needs to be cleared. I fill my energy space with light. I radiate my heart light. But still, instant manifestation isn't always happening, because we also are connected to the collective, and we're connected to mass consciousness. So once again, that might tether us. And as we become aware of our connection to each other in such a profound way, that's really an expression of a higher frequency and dimension. We bring this potential to everyone. And as we show this potential from how we live our life, it opens up this potential for everyone else. So for those of you who just watched my videos on the prequel to Clearing the Illusion and Clearing the Illusion, I'll tag that for you here, because this is important, that what we see as potential is what we manifest. And seeing is important because we have been programmed to use other than our own imagination, to project what we see outside of ourselves, and that has been controlled for us. Now, back to time. What is amazing with time, simply bring yourself to the present moment, and keep focusing on, excuse me, something just popped up on my screen, and keep focusing on the present moment. Breathe and calm your body. Put your devices down. Please, everybody, put your cell phones down. Take yourself off your tablets. This is something that is part of our program so that we don't stay in the present moment. You can go look at my prequel to Illusion. This is part of the the plan. We give our power away when we're other than in the present moment. Or, there was that funny commercial where they showed people missing these brilliant moments that were taking place around them because they were on their devices. They weren't paying attention to the moment. So the magic is in the moment. All that exists is now. The past and what we project in the future is all now. It's our attachments to recreating old thought patterns and old wiring is sometimes what we view and experience as the past. So if those are coming up for you, you have an opportunity to do energy work and clear those, clear the thought loops, clear the emotional loops that are tied to the thought loops so that you hold more light. We're being supported to hold more light. And as we hold more light, that density comes up for review and starts to crumble. Now, for those of you who do really big energy work, I have been working on doing energy work for the planet using Gaia's grid. And there's so much where it's like shining a light on cockroaches and they all scramble. So those that have been controlling the artificial matrix for us are scrambling now, and they're attempting to create artificial time constructs onto this capacity of time, opening up for all of us to manifest our greatest potential for our highest and best good, an organic notion of creation where we step out of the artificial matrix or we the artificial third dimensional matrix, and we step beyond and we clear out our illusion, and we really stand in a space of true potential for manifesting immediately. So I'm using my hands a lot because my hands are buzzing, which means healing energy is coming through and it's very active, and for you to all receive this message for your highest and best good. On the flip side of manifesting or creating each and every experience, sometimes we simply wish to observe, and we clear all notions of time and we step into this observation of life. And when we do this, when we step into observing outside of our ego of I, and we step into that higher energetic potential of ourselves, and we step into what is our observer perspective outside of our ego, really that is truly the now moment. And we are living our life to our fullest potential and bring gratitude into the moment. And babies naturally do this. You notice that? Babies aren't aware of time. When they're born, they're simply observing their life and they're observing their experiences, and they actually tune in quite beautifully. If you've been around babies, they're super aware of what's going on in their inner bodies, their human bodies. So they're very tuned into their inside world and their humanness, and they're very tuned into their higher energetic expression, and they simply observe it. It's quite beautiful. So you're welcome to step in that observer perspective as well. So I'm going to pause this to see if there's anything else that I've missed. I've written notes for this. So let me just pause this recording for a moment.